Hello Leeds United fans, it's a 2-1 win against Plymouth and Leeds roar into the international break with 6 wins in 7. A fantastic home record and Leeds are looking good, looking very, very, very good. And you know, I want to start off with the positives, of course. I want to start off saying that Leeds have created so many chances. I want to talk about, you know, that first half, which was on the same standard level as Huddersfield. Leeds United tore through Plymouth like a knife through butter. It was very, very good. And I was impressed all across the pitch, really. I thought Kamara is getting better and better as the games go on, which is great to see. The silky smooth operator is ticking Leeds over in that midfield very, very nicely. I always use this, you know, the phrase of being, you know, press resistant, and that's exactly what he is. Any sort of press that's put on him, he can bypass it, and that is the staple, the hallmark of a fantastic midfielder. He gets us up the pitch as well, which you saw again in this game against Plymouth. I thought Ampadu had a quiet game, but he went about his business quite well. Joe Rodon, exemplary, once again, exceptional, exquisite, you know, alliteration aside, this guy is just superb and he's a level above, and once again it's a Ben White-esque signing that Leeds United have made, who you saw again today elevates Liam Cooper's game. Cooper, I thought, came in and did okay. Thought he did okay. You know, their goal, which we'll get onto in just a second, came through that left-hand channel between Firpo and Cooper. It seemed very, very easy. I heard Jermaine Beckford saying that it was just a wonderful piece of play by Plymouth. I don't know what he's smoking there. It was too easy, way too easy from back to front for Plymouth to cut down Leeds United's side, that left-hand side, and split the defender and the full-back. Firpo looked out of position, and Liam Cooper, I don't know where he was really, but Leeds, aside from that, and aside from a little bit of a blip in that second half, were good, were worthy of the lead. I will say, you know, the thing that irked me a little bit, and this is me being pedantic, a little bit pretty with everything, but Leeds is finishing. I think it does have to improve a little bit, because once again, what did Plymouth do? I mean, in that second half, they got through once, really, and they were able to put it away. And this has been the story, the tale of Leeds United's last 6 years. It's been in front of goal. We've always been a little bit slack, I would say, and that was evident today, really, really evident today. You know, the goals that we scored, Dan James, a lovely little finish, and you know, obviously Perot getting his goal, a lovely little bit of interchange there by Leeds United, Somerville and him on that side. But I felt going into half time, it was dominant, it was comfortable. But I was saying on the watch long, if you did miss it, you can catch me watching pretty much every single Leeds game now. But I thought it was good from Leeds, but I was calling for no complacency, no pedestrian nature in the second half, and Leeds fell back as a unit. And I think Leeds become a little bit, poorer. We become a lot poorer when we rely on defensive resilience. I think Leeds' best form of defence is attack, and I think in that second half it could have been 6, it could have been 7. It was genuinely that easy for Leeds to get through. And I think sometimes, I was mentioning on the watch long, that Rutter, he's overcomplicating it, and I think he just cannot believe how much time he's got at this level. And I don't think Somerville can believe the time they've got at this level. And I really sometimes think that maybe it turns into a bit of a training exercise for them. But there was points today where Rutter in particular was losing the ball, and Plymouth were able to transition, not nicely, not well, but we were giving them that opportunity. But overall, on the whole, I thought Leeds were really good, everyone. And this isn't a negative post from me whatsoever. It just bugged me at the end when we've somehow let them back into it. You know, like we let Huddersfield score. And this has been the perfect Leeds United. This is looking at those, you know, those incremental moments which make you champions, you know, which put you into that top 2. And that's exactly what I'm looking for when I'm looking at my side at this moment in time. There is no room for error. And that was a game today where there didn't need to be a room for error. But let me just talk on Dan James as well. I thought he played really, really well, Dan James. A little bit in the first half where I explained the BG, the bozo gene at points, but he didn't do that a lot in the second half and toward the end of the first half. I thought he was really good. You know, he's really good. Great finish as well. His confidence will be soaring now. And I think at the minute, weirdly enough, Dan James is one of the most decisive players in that final third, which is crazy how things work out. I think Somerville had a half decent game as well. I will talk on a couple of penalties in that first half as well. I thought Plymouth should have had one, but I thought Leeds should have had one as well. I thought there was a push in the back of Jorginho Rutter, not shoulder to shoulder, in the back in that first half. The referee was nothing more than a traffic cone by colour and by mentality in that first half. But as well, I did think there was a tangle between I think it was Bali Mumba and Ethan Ampadu, where I thought 9 times out of 10 that's been given as a penalty. So I thought Leeds were quite lucky there. But on the balance of play, it should have been 4, 5, 6, 7s even. And that is the thing with Leeds at this moment in time. It's just been clinical, which we were against Huddersfield, but it was quite similar in that second half against Huddersfield. They sit back a little bit, and they sat back again today. QPR in that game in particular, they sat back. Bristol City, they weren't really potent, sat back a little bit, and I think Leeds have just got to put these 90-minute performances in, which give them the reward, for what they've put in, how brilliant they've been. They deserve to win these games, and they're not going to win every week, 5 or 6-0, but they deserve to win these games by more than one or more than two. More than one goal, So I think overall, when the substitutions did come on, I thought Leeds looked a little bit rickety. I thought, when Sam Byram came off, I thought we lost a little bit of shape. I thought when Nonto and Anthony came on, we lost a bit of shape, which does speak volumes. But yeah, the goals that we should have scored, Rutter should have had one. I mean, over the bar on the penalty spot, Jorginho Rutter should have had 2. Crescencio Somerville, an easy chance missed. There was so many that you could pinpoint really, but credit to the Plymouth fans. They brought 3,000 for about a 3,000 mile trip. But Leeds have gone into this break now. They've gone. It's clear water. There was a lot of people saying that it was going to be a difficult one, and there was definitely reason for it to be a difficult one. Plymouth do score goals. Bali Mumba, Hardy, Azaz on loan from Villa. Obviously Morgan Whittaker. They've got a lot of presences going forward. Leeds were able to quell that for 90% of the game, and a lot of people were talking online about it being one of Leeds' best performances, and quite right to point to that as well, because it was a very good one from Leeds United, and one where you look round and think to yourself, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. We're dominating a team like this who've gone to Ipswich and pushed Ipswich very, 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 very close, may I add. After watching that game, Plymouth were in the game much more than they were in this game today, and it just shows that maybe Leeds have got a level or 2 more to go when I'm talking about being clinical, ruthless, and really killing off teams in this division. So they have no chance. That first half, once again, should have been 4, should have been 5, and that had been Leeds on an off day in that first half, by the way, if we'd have scored 4 or 5, because we had more chances than that in the first half. But once again, we're going to be smashing on the drum of this throughout the season, and it seems to be, even if it's certain personnel, and even if Anthony's coming on, if even Nonto's coming on, we saw those 2 missed chances. It seems to be just Leeds in these final third moments need to maybe take a breath and then just ruthlessly put that ball calm, cool and collected in the corner. But listen, I'm not a footballer, it's just what I see as a fan. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's another win for Leeds, as I've said, and we're ticking over nicely. The big news today is that Leicester have lost. So obviously they've lost to us, and then they've lost to Middlesbrough without scoring a goal as well. Now, this is just crazy now, because you've got Ipswich and Leicester on the same points. The positive with Leeds United right now is we are hunting, and we are hunting them down. The negative is we have to be near perfect. We cannot drop points, and that's why I was getting so frustrated in the second half, because they didn't deserve to be in that game, with all credit to Plymouth. And if you're losing points there when you're so dominant, the teams in front, because we have to be near perfect because of our start, are going to take advantage of that and have taken advantages of that. So Leeds need to be near perfect. There's no room for error against Rotherham. There's no room for error against Swansea and Middlesbrough. Leeds have to keep ticking over. But 8 points behind both of them now. It reels Leicester in as well. Southampton as well, a mention to them, who are a point behind Leeds United. They are not going away. Another win for them today as well. They seem to be winning each game by the odd goal, but I guess you could suggest Leeds are in phases as well. When you're looking at Bristol City, QPR today. But yeah, you can throw in with Leeds, obviously the Huddersfield game, the Millwall game, etc., etc. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. But what you can tell so far in this part of the season is just Leeds are miles ahead. We're miles ahead, and this is the problem with chasing the pack. The pack are also playing these teams, and these teams, unfortunately, just a lot of the time aren't good enough to even compete. Swansea went 1-0 up today, and I think we all knew Ipswich were going to come back into it, but once again, it's another 3-2 for Ipswich. I guess a little bit a little bit of comforts coming out is that Swans went down to 10 men and were able to nearly get back into it at the end. But Leeds are ticking over nicely with dominant. I just want to see us being a little bit more ruthless going forward. Guys, that's it for the international break. You'll have loads of content coming out over the next couple of weeks on One Leeds. Please make sure you're locked in. Really appreciate your support, and I'll catch you in a bit.